Hi, my name is Tim Rawlinson. Welcome to London Glassblowing. Today I'll be doing a demo of one of my Essence pieces, which is a hot sculpted piece comprised of two coloured cups that get put together and twisted up. I'm going to do a slight variation on the sort of eccentric twist and use some metal tools to pull the colour and create sort of effects of fabric, a little bit like marbling in textiles. So I hope you enjoy. So we heat the end of the metal rods so that the glass sticks to it. If it was cold, it just wouldn't stick. And I'm keeping it turning so the molten glass stays on the rod. Otherwise, you'd see it just drift off to one side. Sort of constantly keep it in motion. So the molten glass is about 1100 degrees centigrade. And then we have a reheating chamber on the side that's about the same to get the heat back into the glass so it cools very quickly. So using these metal wooden blocks to shape and cool the glass. Just gets the glass nice and symmetrical. Takes some of the heat out of it as well so I can control it a bit better. This is just a pad of wet newspaper. Just an effective tool to cool and shape the glass. The block is very good at giving you a round shape, but the newspaper means the shape of my hand underneath the pad. I'll be able to create a much more intricate shape. So I want a sort of pointy, smooth form to be able to go cleanly into the cup. Involves sandwiching clear glass between coloured layers, sort of building it up in rings. So again, I just need to let this cool off so it's stable enough to gather more glass on top. Glass that I don't need to fill the cup. It's a guesstimation, but I'm trying to get the exact volume of the inside of the cup, the amount of glass I've got. Go into that cup and get that layer of colour suspended on the outside. Practice and just making sure that it's nice and smooth and you've got the right amount of glass. I'm smoothing the glass over, taking out any sort of chill marks from the metal table. And this is a score line I'm putting in with some jacks so that the piece can eventually be broken off this iron. Okay, can we swap over, Harry? Yeah. In the bench? Yeah. Yours. I'm going to get one more gather, set that up, and then I'll do the final strip gather before I go into the cup. So the orange glow is just the radiant heat given off by the glass. It's clear, but it's so hot, it has that glow to it. think next time, Harry.
Okay.
We swap over?
Yep.
Please, Harry.
Say it again.
Restart the punty, please. Basically, by sticking that big weight on one side, it's completely off centre. And making sure the iron that Harry's got is going to go on the centre here. So otherwise it's just too much off-centre weight to be able to make it vaguely symmetrical. But at 90. Pull you closer to me. I'm applying water at the stress point. Once the temperatures are right, I'm going to be able to strike the iron and knock the pieces off my iron and onto Harry's. Hopefully they will stay on Harry's iron, not on the floor. Okay?
Yeah.
Yep. Get a little heat through. I'm going to test the surface to see if it's ready to distort. I've got this metal hook. Clip. 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 Okay.
Yeah. Just trying to keep it on center.
Okay, just heat the end part.
Sure.
Clip. Clip. Okay, I heat lovely movements in the ink and water. And when I was watching, I just thought glass could behave in a similar manner. It's obviously a far tougher surface, but you can create a lot of the similar effects.
Into the furnace as is, he could trap air bubbles and pockets in the piece. Sometimes you want that. You might notice in paperweights and things like that, there are intentional bubbles and holes in the glass. But if you don't want that, it's really important to spend time smoothing the surface back out and getting it all even again, so that when the next layer goes on, you don't trap anything unwanted in the surface of the piece.
Marver just to smooth off the last undercuts.
It's kind of my job to just pay attention to what he's doing and make sure that if anything starts to go awry, I can catch it before anything happens. So it's quite important to know the maker quite well and be able to anticipate what it is that they might want to do next, just in case anything isn't where it needs to be, because the piece you can't really stop. Although glass making on its own is quite a quick procedure, it's because you can't put anything down once you've picked it up. So it's really important to have another person paying attention, just in case there's a tool he needs that he doesn't have that we weren't anticipating, or you know, if anything starts to happen, it means that he doesn't need to stop or bin what he's doing, and it can just keep going as it was.
Pulling it and having to be quite forceful with the glass. I know that I want it to be distorted, I know that I want to swirl them into each other, But I don't have a specific design of a zigzag or anything like that. It's just trying to go with what it does. And I'm also folding it up on the marble so you can see how it's pulled into each other. So I'm about ready to get the final gather of glass. It'll be quite a big piece. Yep. Very hot like that, it just wants to spin out. So I'm using this special pad just to try and keep it under control, smooth it over. This one is just yesterday's Metro. This will end up being the bottom of the piece. So in a little while we'll turn it around so we can work on the other end. To America, there'll be about 5 people working on a piece like this. That's someone heating, someone turning, someone with a torch, someone shielding. Yeah. It means you can create that sort of flattened form. Quite synonymous with the work that Peter does in the studio, these sort of stone type forms. Do it on both sides, they refract through to the other so it doubles up. It's sort of new. By putting things on one side and on the other, you create the whole. So a lot of what I do with the work is an illusion. What you see maybe isn't necessarily there. It's a shadow, or it's a doubling up, or just a refraction of the light inside. Flip. Okay, flat. Yep, yep. 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 Rather than it being all twisted together, is the colours are predominantly on one side, as in one on one side, one on the other. Now blue is a notoriously soft colour, meaning it gets hotter quicker than the other colours. So when we were heating it and making it, the blue is moving way more than the purple. So that's what's hard to control with these sort of pieces. It's not going to fall off. So this is all just about temperature control. Knowing that that's hot enough to stay on the iron, this is cold enough to come off the iron. it get cool to knock it off. So now I've got to get it hot to be able to manipulate it again. Where it broke off, it's quite uneven, it's quite sharp. So I'm going to use different tools, the tweezers and the shears, to just start pulling out the end of the glass, eventually cut that off, make something sort of smooth and pointy. Now Harry's being very particular about how she heats it. You want to get the far end hot enough to be able to manipulate it, but she has to keep the heat in the back end, otherwise it will crack and fall off. So he's doing a nice balancing act, the heat. Okay. Look. Okay, edges. Okay, another flash. Flip. Flip. Yep. 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 I'm just getting one last straight and start the process of cooling it down and get it away. Those are the things I can get my hands to shape the piece. Look. Okay, edges. Yep. Okay, literally just a flash. Lovely. Thank you. That's the process.